Welcome to the Chasing Spirituality podcast. I'm your host, Megan, and I'm so excited that you're joining me today. Each episode is full of heartfelt and expansive content that will really help you expand your consciousness and grow as a person. I created this podcast because I wanted to share my own personal experiences on my spiritual journey, but I also wanted to meet others and have them share what they've been through and how they've gotten to where they are today. If you haven't done so already, it would really mean a lot to me if you could rate and review the podcast. This really helps the podcast grow and reach more people, but it also allows me to get more guests on the show. Now on to today's topic. Hello everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Chasing Spirituality. If you're new here, my name is Megan and I am the host. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki practitioner, intuitive channel, and spiritual teacher, and this is my podcast, so I'm super excited that you found it. And if you are a regular, welcome back. I'm excited to have you again. I'm excited that you're willing to spend your day listening to my voice, listening to these messages that I have. And today, I knew I wanted to record. I knew I wanted to record an episode. I wasn't really sure which direction I would be called in. And as I was meditating, I felt this divine energy, and I saw a woman who looked Egyptian, and she was wearing a beautiful crown, like a huge, beautiful headdress, and she has identified herself as Ashka, and she said that she really wants me to talk about something to help the feminine. She wants me to tap into this feminine energy and channel what she thinks everybody needs to know. And so we're going to just kind of wing it and see what she wants to talk about. Before we jump in, I just want to remind you that my books for June and should even be open for July. So if you're looking to book an appointment with me, I have Akashic Record readings, which are really neat. If you haven't listened to the Akashic Records episode, I recommend that you go back and check that out because it's really cool. Also, I do channeled coaching, which is a little bit of all of my abilities and gifts and knowledge that I've acquired along the way, and those sessions are customized to meet you wherever you're at and guide you and help you and assist you in whatever way you are looking to be guided. I also have Reiki appointments and psychic sessions and all that jazz. So if you're looking to book with me, make sure you go and check that out. Also, the community is doing great. We're having a lot of fun over there. There's guided meditations and practice circles, live recordings of podcast episodes. That's how we did the Akashic Records episode. And it's just a really cool place for you to meet like-minded people and express yourself and feel connected to a spiritual community. So if you're looking for a community, I recommend you go and check that out. You can visit my website to access all of this information. It is chasingspirituality.com. So now on to today's episode. What I'm really feeling called to talk about right now is the pressure that a lot of women, particular people who identify with being female or feminine energy, there is a lot of pressure on us to fit into certain boxes. And I've already done a lot of work in this area, so this is not something that I tend to struggle with anymore. I've done a lot of work on myself, and this part of femininity is not something that I struggle with. So maybe as this episode progresses, we can talk about some of the things that I still work on in this area. But I want to start with where I kind of got started. And I noticed that as I began working on myself and healing my own wounds, there was a lot around being a female, a lot of expectations of women in this society, in our culture. And a lot of that looks like being a great mom, being able to go to work and work a full-time job, as well as come home and raise a household and always plaster a smile on your face and give your kids 100% and clean your house and your house always be spotless. And I just want to tell you that if you feel the pressure of this, I want to let you know that this is not normal. This is not a normal expectation. So if you are holding yourself to these standards of being the perfect wife, the perfect employee, the perfect mom all the time, it's just impossible. Not only that, but when we literally give all of our energy, everything that we have into these areas, into putting on a show for all of these things that we believe we're supposed to be doing, we're not giving ourselves the energy that we deserve. You're not giving yourself capacity to grow. You're not giving yourself opportunity to heal from your wounds, to heal from society standards. You're not giving yourself the proper energy that you need. You're important too. And yes, you do have a family, and you may have children, or you may have a spouse. You may have a full-time job, and all of these things may be something that you love, something that you appreciate, something that you enjoy, but it doesn't mean that you have the energy to give all of those areas 100% all the time. You're important too, and what you want out of life, what lights you up, when you need to recharge, and whatever recharging looks like for you, it's important to give yourself time for that. And stop trying to live in this box of being the perfect everything for everyone. It's not realistic, and there's absolutely no way that you can keep up with that expectation without reaching some sort of burnout. So if you haven't already reached burnout and you're trying to live your life this way, I really want to encourage you to take a step back and really look at the way that you're living life and ask yourself, are you living life the way that you want to? Are you doing the things that you want to do? Are you giving yourself the time, space, and energy that you need? And really ask yourself this and be honest. Be honest about where you're at, because you're important too. And you have to make time for that. You have to make space for that. Another thing that came up for me in the beginning was the expectation of how women are also supposed to look. You know, we're expected to always look nice, wear makeup, especially if we're going out in public, be presentable. And again, this is not a normal expectation. If you don't feel like putting makeup on, if you don't like makeup, or you're just tired and you don't feel like wearing it, there should not be this expectation that you must put it on. And I really encourage you to ask yourself, when it comes to how you look, how you dress, how you feel like you need to present yourself to the world, really ask yourself, are you doing this for you? Are you dressing the way that you want to dress? Are you wearing the things that you want to wear? Are you wearing makeup because you want to wear it? Not because you think you have to, not because you think you need to, not because you think that if you don't have makeup on that you are going to scare everybody because you're this ugly, hideous creature. And I find it, when people tell me that, I find it really sad, because that's one thing that I hear a lot from people when they realize that I don't wear makeup anymore. And I mean, I do wear makeup, but only when I feel like it. I don't wear makeup to work every day. I just don't. I put makeup on when I feel like wearing makeup. And I definitely don't wear as much makeup as I used to, and that's my choice. That's my preference. I wear the amount of makeup that I feel like wearing when I feel like wearing it. And when I tell people this, most of the time, the response that I get is, oh, you don't want to see me without makeup. Nobody wants to see me without makeup. I look like a monster. I look like a ghost. And it really just makes me sad, because you shouldn't feel that way about yourself. And the type of world that we live in nowadays, we have all these different cosmetics and makeup and plastic surgery and all of these things that are meant to take away from our true identity. And I find that really sad because you should be comfortable in your own skin and you should love the way that you look. And I get having insecurities. We all have them. But this is not something that makeup and cosmetics and plastic surgery and all of these other things, that none of that is going to help. None of that is going to fix it. If you truly feel that you are ugly and that you look bad, there's not any amount of surgery or cosmetic that you can use, that you can have done. There's no procedure out there that will ever make you feel beautiful, because that starts from within. How you feel about yourself starts from within. And so I'm not knocking makeup. I definitely wear it from time to time when I feel like it. Like I said, when I feel like it. Not because I'm having a bad day and I feel like I look ugly. Not because I think that I need to wear it so that I can fit into some kind of weird society standard. I wear it because I want to. And I get that. Some people love makeup. And that's great. But don't do things to alter your appearance because of how you feel about yourself. That's really something that you need to go within and ask, what about yourself do you not like? What about yourself makes you feel ugly? Because it won't just be your looks. And then you have to look at this realistically as far as the people, the women, the feminine energy that we're supposed to live up to. The people that we see on social media and on TV and all of that. I mean, these are most of the time they are airbrush, they're plastic. They've done all these things and had all these procedures done to make themselves look flawless, to make themselves look perfect. And that's not reality. That's not truth. And so now a majority of the female population, and males have to suffer from this too. There's definitely a way that males are expected to look in male culture as well. But I'm specifically talking about the feminine culture in this episode. But we're expected to look a certain way, and we see all of these images and models and people that we're supposed to live up to, that we're supposed to use as inspiration, and none of it's real. You can't look like that. It's not realistic, and it's not even how you're supposed to look. And now AI is not making that any better. And then we have all these filters to change the way that we look. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty of using the filters. I don't use the filters most of the time, like when I'm taking personal pictures. I don't take a lot of pictures of myself in the first place, but when I do, I try to be mindful of that, and I try not to use filters and things like that. But I use filters on TikTok. And that's where I still have work to do around my appearance and my self-worth and my self-love. So I'm definitely not completely guiltless in this scheme that we're falling under. But I think that it's really important to remind ourselves of what women are truly supposed to look like, how we're really supposed to look, how we were made to look. And we won't ever do that if we're constantly falling into this trap of trying to look fake and trying to look like we really don't. We have to start putting images and information out there that matches where we're going, as a feminine culture. We need to start leading the female society into truth again, because we've fallen really, really far away from it. And the only way we can do that is when we start making changes within. When we start paying attention to our own shortcomings and limiting beliefs and things like that about ourselves. When we can be more aware of that, we can pass that on, because we can heal those things within ourselves so that we can be closer to our true identity and to how we are supposed to be and look. And then it spreads and other people catch on. So I think that's really important. I think that's a really important message that we all need to hear right now. The last thing that I want to talk about is body image and your height and your weight and your curves and all this. And I also just want to repeat that this is exactly what I was just saying. All of the same things still apply. We have no representation of women that are super curvy or thicker. We're starting to have more representation of that, but it's not something that we have enough of, and it's definitely not something that has been part of society standards for a long time. We all look different. We all look different. Some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us have curvy waists, and some of us have curvy hips, some of us have a curvy upper body, some of us have long limbs, some of us have short limbs. It's the same as having different hair color, having different eye color, having different skin color. We all look different. We're supposed to. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is beautiful. How boring would it be if we all looked the same? And there's not a specific way that we're supposed to look because our bodies are different. They're meant to be different. Some people will never look any different than what they look like right now, other than just typical aging. And that's okay. Every plant and every tree looks different. You've got tall trees, short trees, wide trees, thin trees, trees with lots of leaves, trees with barely any leaves. Light trees, dark trees, all the trees look different, and yet you don't see anybody judging the trees, and they don't judge each other. And they don't say all the tall trees are better. No, the short ones are. Like none of this matters. It doesn't matter for the trees, and it shouldn't matter for us. And the same with aging. There is definitely a lot of trauma in female culture around aging. Like we're supposed to look young and beautiful and not have wrinkles for the rest of our lives. That's not how things work. You're supposed to age. It's a natural part of life. Everything ages. And in ancient cultures, they would all sit around and they would look at some of the oldest members of the community. And they would just admire them for their wisdom, for the knowledge that they have attained in this life. They would look at their wrinkles and they would see someone to honor, someone to cherish, and to learn from. They wouldn't see the wrinkles and judge them and think that, man, they should really look, instead wish that they looked like they were like in their 20s. They need to put some cream on to fix that. Like, no. Everything ages as it's supposed to because it's appropriate. It's how life works. It's part of the cycle. We can't combat the cycle. We shouldn't want to combat the cycle. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to think. It's not a healthy way to feel. As a woman in my 30s, I can't tell you how many women, and even men, that criticize the wrinkles that they have, that criticize when they find a gray hair. And I'm like, no, I don't particularly want wrinkles. That's another thing that I'm still working through. But when I see mine, I try to be proud of them because it shows that I've lived. Every wrinkle is a lesson learned. And I think that's really beautiful when you think of it for what it really is and not for what society has tried to warp us into thinking. This isn't healthy. And I get, like, this is a lot to unpack. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that I have thrown at you. There's a lot in that. And I understand that you may be shaking your head and saying, no, Megan, there's no way I will ever be proud of my wrinkles. There's no way I will ever stop wearing makeup out in public. That's your choice. I don't judge you. But I do think that working on these limiting beliefs and healing what's within, healing the fears that you have around being who you truly are and loving who you truly are, will make you see things a little differently. Because like I said, I see things a lot differently than what I did 5 years ago. And I wish that I had that knowledge then, but I didn't. I had lessons that I needed to learn first and things that I needed to heal, and I still do. I'm still not in love with how I look. It's something that I work on every day, and it's something that I'll continue to work on. But I definitely love myself a lot more than I used to. And I have a lot more confidence than I used to, and I can be more proud of who I am now. And so I'm proud of that. So I hope that this episode, if anything, it made you proud to identify with the feminine energy. And I hope that it has also inspired you to love yourself more and be proud of who you are and how you look. Because who you are is beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you love. And it would mean so much to me if you could rate, review, and subscribe so that the podcast can reach and assist more people. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love.